Dear students, welcome to the English second paper class brought to you by Amar Ghare Amar School. You know that due to pandemic, the government has closed down all the institutions of the country. However, Amar Ghare Amar School has taken initiative to bring your classroom to your home through Sangsad Bangladesh Television. So without wasting any time, let's start today's class. The topic that we are going to learn today is narration. In previous classes, we have looked at the rules of changing speech from direct to indirect in case of affirmative, negative, interrogative and imperative sentences. In today's class, we are going to have a closer look at how to change speech in optative and exclamatory sentence. You may find this lesson in your book at Unit 13, Lesson 1. Here we can see two pictures. In the first picture we can see that there is an exclamation mark, and in the second one we can see that a girl is clasping her hands. Now what can you assume from these two pictures? The first one is very obvious. It is expressing an emotion, and the second one is expressing a situation where someone is praying. Yes, you have guessed it right. The topic that we are going to learn today is how to change direct to indirect speech in case of optative and exclamatory sentence. What will be the learning outcomes of today's class? After today's class, you will be able to understand the rules to change optative and exclamatory sentence from direct to indirect speech. Now what is optative sentence? As we all know, optative sentence is a sentence that indicates a wish, prayer or desire. So if I want to express something that I want or that I long for, what am I going to do? I'm going to use optative sentence. Now there are two examples of using optative sentence in direct speech here. The first one is, my mother said to me, may Allah bless you. So may Allah bless you, it's a prayer that my mom is saying for me. The second one, he said, long live the president. Again, it's a prayer. So in these two cases, what we can see in common, the speaker here is expressing his wish or prayer or desire. And for that reason, he has used optative sentence. Now how can we change optative sentence from direct to indirect speech? The rule is, for making indirect speech of optative sentence, said of reporting verb is changed according to the optative word of reporting speech. So it depends on the mood or the expression that the optative sentence is referring to. And depending on that, the verb said to is going to be changed. A list of such words is given here. So here we can see how it can be changed in different ways. For example, the first optative word that is given here is would that. If I say would that I could get the wings of a bird, so that means it's my wish. So here in place of said we can use wished from indirect. So in this place, in place of said, we can use wished in indirect speech. Now the second one, oh that. Again, it's a kind of wish. For that reason, we are going to replace said with wished. Now the third one, oh for. Again, it's a kind of wish or prayer. So we have used wished here. Now it's very obvious that if the optative word is may God or may Allah, it's a kind of prayer. So the word or the verb that is going to be replaced here is prayed. You can also use wished here. Now the last one, if dash were, only imagination. So if I imagine something like if I were a bird, this is a kind of imagination that I have. In this expressions also, we are going to use wished. Now here are some examples how optative sentences can be changed using different expressions or verbs. The first one, he said, "Oh that I had the wings of a bird." So it's a kind of wish that I have. I'm expressing my desire. So what have I written? He wished that he had the wings of a bird. So here what you can see, said has been replaced with wished. Now the second one, she said, "May Bangladesh prosper." It started with the sentence may. So may have been used here. It's very obvious that it's a prayer. So we have written, she prayed that Bangladesh might prosper. Remember, in case of assertive sentence, may has been changed into might. And so in these cases, this is the same thing that we are seeing, that might has been replaced. So she prayed that Bangladesh might prosper. Now moving on to exclamatory sentence. What is exclamatory sentence? Exclamatory sentences expresses emotions, interjections such as hurrah, wow, alas, oh, ah are used to express emotions. The word that is used to join clause. So exclamatory sentence always expresses sudden emotion or outburst of emotion. So it must be something that is sudden. And how you are going to identify that? It's very easy to identify because it's going to have exclamatory sign at the end. Rules for conversion of exclamatory from direct speech sentences into indirect speech sentences. The first rule is exclamatory sentences changes into assertive sentence. I hope you remember the rules how to change assertive sentence from direct to indirect speech. So the same rules of narration, that means changing of tense, changing of pronoun is going to be applied in here too. Interjections are removed. Exclamation mark changes into full stop. Words like what, how are removed, and before the adjective of reported speech we put very. Changes of tenses, pronouns, adjectives will be according to the previous rules as we have seen in assertive sentence. So I'm repeating the rules once again. What we have to do, we have to identify the sentence at first if it has exclamatory sign at the end. Then if it has exclamatory sentence, we are going to change it into assertive. That means the exclamation mark will be removed. Interjections, parts of speech that do not have any particular meaning, that are used to express emotion, they are known as interjections. So this type of interjections are going to be removed. Exclamation mark will be changed into full stop. What, how, this type of expressions will be omitted, and before the adjective we are going to use very. And the last one is the changes of tense, the change of pronoun, the change of other time expressions will be same according to the changes that we follow in assertive sentence. Let's have a closer look at the rules now. In exclamatory sentences, reporting verb is changed into exclaimed with joy, sorrow, anger, surprise. That is going to be used. So depending on the mood of the sentence, depending on the expression or the emotion that are being referred to, we are going to use exclaimed with joy, sorrow, anger. Sentences will be changed into statements. So as you remember, I mentioned before that in narration, when you are changing the speech from direct to indirect, in indirect speech, all sentences will be in assertive form. Exclamatory symbols, oh, hi, las are removed. So any kind of interjections, they are going to be omitted or deleted. Connective that will be used. So we are going to use that as a conjunction or a linking word. Now here there are some moods given, and we have also shown how it can be changed. Sorrow in reported speech. So the direct speech, if it is expressing sorrow, if it is expressing a mood that is sorrowful, what are we going to do? We are going to write exclaimed with sorrow, grief, or we can write exclaimed sorrowfully or cried out. Now the second mood, happiness in reported speech. So if the reported speech expresses joy, happiness, then we are going to write exclaimed with joy, delight, or exclaimed joyfully. Now the third mood is surprise. So if something amazes you, if something surprises you, you will write exclaimed with surprise, wonder, or astonishment. Now if the mood is something that is appreciation and it is being expressed strongly, then we are going to write applauded. For example, bravo. In this case, the expression bravo has been used to express appreciation. For that reason, in indirect speech, what we can write? We can write applauded. Now here are some examples how direct speech has been changed into indirect one in case of exclamatory sentence. For example, the first one, he said, how beautiful the place is. Exclamatory sign, exclamation mark, has been given at the end of the sentence. So it's very easy to identify that it is an exclamatory sentence. Now how we have changed it? I have written, he exclaimed with joy that the place was very beautiful. Now focus on here. He exclaimed with joy. Why joy? Because it's a nice place. That means it is something that is delightful. For that reason, we have written exclaimed with joy. You can also write exclaimed with happiness here. That has been used as the connective, and then we have used very before the adjective because we have how here. How beautiful the place is. So we have written the place was very beautiful. Now why was? Remember, in case of assertive sentence, what have we learned? We have learned that in case of assertive sentence, if the tense is present indefinite, it will be changed into past indefinite. For that reason, is being replaced with was here. Now the second example, Rohan said, hurrah, we have won the match. Again, it's exclamatory. Rohan exclaimed with joy that they had won the match. Again, it's a situation where happiness have been expressed. For that reason, I have changed it. Rohan exclaimed with joy. That has been used as a connective. They had won the match. Now remember, we have won the match. It's in present perfect. So we know that in case of assertive sentence, if the tense is present perfect, we are going to change it into past perfect. And that's exactly what it has been done here. That they had won the match. So we have used the subject they, we have used had, and we have used the past participle of the verb won. Now there is an interesting thing here. In both cases, in both indirect speech, the exclamation mark has been removed and we have used full stop. And the whole structure has been changed into assertive. So do not forget to use full stop in indirect speech. Now the expression of alas. If you have an expression of alas, it's very easy to understand that it is referring to something that is sorrowful. It is referring to something that is upsetting, that is something that is disappointing. So in case of alas, what we are going to write? Exclaimed with regret, sorrow or disappointment. So the direct speech that has been given here is, the reporter said, alas, many lives have been lost due to tsunami. Now in indirect speech, the answer is given as, the reporter exclaimed sadly that many lives had been lost due to tsunami. You can also write, the reporter exclaimed with sorrow in this place. So the same thing is happening here also. We have just changed a different mode of expression, exclaimed with sorrow, because it differs from the previous expressions that we have seen so far. Many lives have been lost, have been lost. That means it's in present perfect in passive voice. That's why we have written had been lost, past perfect in passive voice, due to tsunami. And also that has been used as a connective. We have also used full stop at the end of the indirect speech. Now what can we do in case of other expressions? Let's have a closer look. If you have other expressive words such as good morning, good evening or good afternoon, then in indirect speech, in place of said, we are going to write wished. If you have the expression good night, goodbye or farewell, then in place of said, we are going to write bade. When we see the example, you are going to have a clear understanding. Let's look at the example here. In direct speech, the sentence is given, he said, good morning, mom. Good morning. So it's a kind of greeting, right? So in indirect speech, it has been written, he wished his mom good morning. And the second one, Prashant said, good night, father. So Prashant is bidding good night to his father. So Prashant bade his father good night. I don't think it's very complicated. If you go through the rules again, you will be able to have a clear understanding. So let's check what you have learned in today's class. In today's class, we have learned the rules to change speech from direct to indirect in optative sentences, expressing wish or prayer. And we have also learned the rules to change speech from direct to indirect in exclamatory sentences, expressing sudden emotion. Now it's time for homework. Here you can see that there are 5 direct speech, and what you have to do, you have to change them in indirect speech. The first one is, she said to me, may you stay happy. So it's a prayer or wish. The second one, I said to him, what a nice watch you have. It's sudden emotion or expression. I said to him, good night. The mother said to the daughter, may Allah bless you. And the last one, the man said to the stranger, what a nice city. So all these sentences that are given in direct speech, they are in either optative or in exclamatory. So follow the rules to change them from direct to indirect speech. Dear students, do the homework, Submit the homework to your teacher when the school reopens. The evaluation given by your teacher will be added to your continuous assessment. I hope you have enjoyed today's class and do not forget to stay home and stay safe.